As we honor our veterans this weekend for their service to our country, sporting events will be taking place across this great nation that illustrate one of the many freedoms they fought for, the ability to attend, enjoy, and relax at a game. This afternoon at Providence Park, the top teams in USL's Western Conference, Real Monarchs, visits Portland Timbers 2, who are looking to extend their unbeaten streak to 5. And with that, we welcome you into the broadcast booth alongside former Portland Pilots midfielder Joe Slevin. I'm Fletcher Johnson. Joe, Portland Timbers 2 carrying a ton of momentum into this match, unbeaten in their last 4 and putting up goals to boot.
They're really coming into their own, and we look at their last win, 7-3 against Los Angeles Galaxy 2. They are pouring in the goals, and today, a little bit of a revenge match, but also continuing that momentum and seeing what they can put together.
Real chance to make a statement against Real Monarchs, who I mentioned, top team in the Western Conference, picking up where they left off from last year. They were the 2017 USL regular season champions.
Unbeaten in their last 5. They have an enormous amount of experience here, so no strangers to an environment like this, and they're going to look to continue to push, press, and look for that win.
Well, we'll look at the players to watch, and one of the players that'll be key for Real Monarchs today is Josh Hurd, who was on the USL Team of the Week most recently this last week, picked up a goal against the Las Vegas Lights.
No stranger to the Northwest, playing up at UW, but out on that wing, he's a physical presence. Look for him to press the pace, get after his man, and get that service into the box.
Meanwhile, for T2, Eric Williamson has a goal in each of the last 2 matches and really is going to be relied upon to control the pace today, right?
Absolutely. He's been sitting deeper a little bit earlier in the season, but they're pushing him forward. He's going to have some more offensive responsibilities, but really a master at dictating the pace of the game and where he wants it to go. So it's going to be key for him to get on the ball and continue pushing that pace.
These 2 teams did square off earlier this year, back in March at Rio Tinto Stadium, a 4-2 win for Real Monarchs. They are looking to sweep the season series. T2 looking to avenge that loss from a couple months ago. All right, coming up, we'll get you the starting lineups and opening kickoff from Providence Park for Portland Timbers 2 and Real Monarchs SLC. And welcome back to Providence Park as we inch closer to kickoff between Portland Timbers 2 and Real Monarchs here on a Saturday afternoon as the sun peeks out from behind the clouds on what has been a cool beginning to this Saturday in the Rose City. As you take a look at Modou Jadama there, and we will take you to the starting lineups, and we'll start off with Real Monarchs. Chandler Hoffman gets a start up top. Couple goals already so far this year. Finished 3rd in the USL MVP race last season. Jake Leaker, meanwhile, has not allowed a goal for Real Monarchs in the last 2 matches.
And you look at this lineup, they really match up well against T2 in terms of on paper, but how this game develops will really dictate, are they going to stay back and maybe look like a 4-5-1 or push forward and really have people in that final third?
A couple of familiar names in there, Taylor Pay, David Horst, we'll talk about here once we get underway. Meanwhile, for Portland Timbers 2, 4-2-3-1 in front of Alex Mangles, who will get his 3rd consecutive start for T2. And you see Vitas making his 2nd consecutive start. Foster Langsdorff coming off a Team of the Week appearance and a hat trick, the 1st in T2 history.
And 3 changes off that 7-3 win, but a similar lineup deployed in that game. So they did a really good job of keeping possession with a purpose, and they're going to look to do that again.
Well, Portland Timbers 2's head coach, Cameron Knowles, in his first year. You see his assistants, Andrew Greger and Aiden Brown, there just to his right, respectively. Cameron Knowles, 6-3-2 so far to start the season through 11 matches. Played for the USL version of the Timbers organization that eventually moved to Major League Soccer. Our head referee, Rosendo Mendoza, will get us underway here momentarily. As you look at Real Monarchs coach Mark Briggs, who is in his second season, assisted by Hamilton Olave and Matt Glazer, the goalkeeping coach. Briggs 27-6-7 as a manager for Real Monarchs. Very successful tenure after he took over from Mike Petke, who took over the MLS Real Salt Lake side after being their USL coach for a short time.
And he was coach of the year, and now this is his first season coming in at the helm for the entire season. They have not stopped, picked up right where they left off from their successful campaign last year.
Whistle blows, and we are underway here from Providence Park. Portland Timbers 2 and Real Monarchs SLC on a beautiful afternoon here in the Rose City. Josh Phillips did not play in the 7-3 win over LA Galaxy 2, but is back in that starting 11 for Cameron Knowles' side. Plays back and forth with Mo Jadama. Header won by Pay. If that name sounds familiar, we'll tell you why as it goes out to touch. Taylor Pay, a member of the MLS Timbers from 2014 to 2016, making 23 appearances before moving over to Real Salt Lake. He's on loan with Real Monarchs here this afternoon.
You know, we looked back at that 4-2 win last time these two teams met, but 3 of those goals came off a set piece. So I think we talked about it before the broadcast, how important a start to this game is, getting yourself settled, getting yourself a rhythm. And you look at both teams here trying to get the passes, little short 1-2s, and then maybe you start trying some things as the game develops.
Yeah, to this point in the season, Joe, a lot of teams have not faced each other multiple times, so this really one of those first times that T2 is running into an opponent that they're playing for a second time. What's the difference in the scouting like, and now knowing your opponent, having played against them already once this year? Granted, there will be a couple different faces on the field. What changes in the preparation in a situation like that?
Absolutely. Not only is your coach doing that scouting, but you as a player, you definitely notice those things. What developed in the last game? What could have gone wrong? And when you look at how these two teams are playing now, really knowing themselves, possession-oriented, it's going to come down to 1 or 2 movements. So keeping that discipline and really rolling with the punches is going to be key for both of these teams to put together a strong day today.
We look back at that match on March 31st at Rio Tinto Stadium. Monarchs got off to a very strong start. Pair of goals in the first 7 minutes. Had 3 goals in the first 32 minutes, and really a deep hole for T2 to try and dig out of, and they did manage to get it back to 3-2, but then it was a 4th goal within the last 20-25 minutes of the match that really sealed the deal for Monarchs at home back in really what was of the very, very early portion of the season.
Absolutely. And you look at the difference between the first 10 minutes of the game and the full 90, because if you look at the full 90, they matched up pretty well, honestly. And talking with Cameron Knowles, he recognized that this game, getting off to a good start, those first 15 minutes are key. Don't concede, and definitely don't concede twice, and you're going to be in a very good position as the game goes on.
High press from T2 nearly wins them back possession. Josh Phillips hobbled as he went in for that challenge. Now hustles to get back into position.
It's nice to see Foster Langsdorff continuing to really push that pace. The defense starts with him. He constantly is putting those center backs under pressure, and he doesn't want their day to be easy because they're not going to make his.
There's a guy that has an incredible work rate, really does not stop over the course of the match. And as we mentioned before kickoff, earned him a hat trick against Los Dos just over a week ago. And really a strong start to the season for him with 5 goals already here in 2018.
Yep, and first hat trick for T2 in their team's history, and also picking up an assist against St. Pauli during the midweek.
That's right, as you mentioned, Joe, FC St. Pauli was here at Providence Park for a midweek friendly against T2. Match finished 2-2, and then went to penalty kicks, and T2 were able to emerge victorious 4-2. Spria turns over Monarchs. Now the ball over the top for Loria, who tries to beat out the defender Brody, but Brody uses his head to get on the end of it and get it back to his keeper Leaker, and he is now staying down on the turf.
You know, we talked about it before the broadcast, what Williamson's going to need to do in terms of controlling the style, the speed of play.
Ball over the top.
Little push in the back there, and as he tries to avoid, maybe catches him on the head with his knee there, but good to see him back up and running.
Brody's in his third year with the Monarchs. You know, started 22 matches, 2 goals, 4 assists in 2017.
And you talk about experience. You brought up Taylor Pay. You brought up David Horst. They're not any strangers.
Here comes Zambrano dribbling towards the corner, lays it off for Aspria, who tries to cross it back to Langsdorff. But necessary defensive work by Monarchs to get the ball to Leaker and avoid disaster. Portillo was the man who came back and got the block on the Aspria attempted cross. Now he turns it over, though, at Loria, far side of the field. Loria coming into his own this year as well. A goal and 2 assists against Los Dos 8 days ago. And the high press from both sides causing a little concern. Mulligan comes back. For Phillips, who now go long over the top, finds Williamson, who chests it down to Langsdorff. He'll lay it off for Aspria. Aspria, a very pacey winger, on loan from the MLS Timbers today.
He's going to be the danger man on that right side. He likes to get at his defender, and it's going to put him under a lot of pressure. You're going to ask a lot of questions.
And Aspria takes the shot with his left foot, blocked by Pay. Mulligan wins the ball back for T2, corner of the box. Dribbles around Pay. Now the cross towards the back post. Aspria tries the bicycle kick, can't get to it. And then it's Loria who tries to get a shot on goal, can't control it. And here comes Monarchs the other direction. Lewis fouls. I believe that was Hurd who went down. And now Mendoza will call back Lewis.
Timbers doing a good job asking questions of the Monarchs here. You've seen 2 chances already from Aspria floating in on that right side. It's hard to track that right mid when he's floating in, and he's created 2 solid chances. Good block there by the Monarchs, but Aspria, if there's no block there, that's in the back of the net.
You look at Andre Lewis there, making his 5th start of the season. Back in play, Hurd has it, defended by Mulligan. Cross gets in by Mulligan, headed away momentarily by Phillips, but not far. And the shot skied over the net by Jose Hernandez.
Good chances at both ends here. Both teams still probing and feeling each other out, but it's a good pace and start to the game.
As we mentioned, 2 teams that like to high press, like to play an open style. 6 goals between them the last time they squared off. See if that pace continues here through 9 minutes.
And it's interesting, this possession game that both of these teams have, coupled with that high press, means that 1 or 2 passes can really unlock the defense, and we're seeing that when Aspria is making those runs in behind and he gets the service that he needs.
Press from Monarchs forces the ball out to touch. Back and forth affair here in the first 9 minutes. Chang has it on the far side. Hoffman crossed in. Hurd was able to nearly get his head to it and put it on frame. Mangles was off his line to pick it up. Dangerous opportunity there for Monarchs.
You know, as a defender, when that midfielder's coming on your back shoulder, you don't see them coming, and Hurd sneaking in there at the last minute almost gets a touch, but luckily nobody's biting there. They've recognized that they know how that ball plays out normally.
Monarchs working to play out of the back amidst the high pressure. Long switch from Brody over here to Ryden. Kalen Ryden had a brace versus T2 on March 31st, dribbling forward on Asprilla. Asprilla able to win the ball back and goes across the end line for a goal kick. Good work there from the winger, Dairon Asprilla, to come back and make an impact defensively.
Really encouraging to see him have that work rate to track his man all the way back and earn that goal kick. So Asprilla, really strong start to the game here on that right wing. Making his third start with T2 here this season. The Colombian native was signed with the MLS Timbers December 8th of 2014. And he has got speed to burn. His header finds Langsdorff. Pay knocks it out to touch. You know, Asprilla is interesting. A lot of times coming off the bench because he offers that unique change of pace. Here in that starting role, he's going to have to find himself a rhythm right from the first whistle, and he's done so far. Hoffman takes it away from Lewis, and Monarchs attack the other direction. Brody on the overlapping run, defended by Vitas. Vitas deflects it as Brody was trying to go around him. Renzo Zambrano getting involved in the action. Gets it to Loria. Loria's touch around the defender earns him a free kick as a foul was called on Portillo. And you talk about Loria, a lot of confidence coming off that Los Dos win. He put in a beautiful free kick and really did a nice job for T2 the entire game, really going at his man and getting service into Foster, who right now we haven't seen too much of him, but that's how he operates. He's working hard, he's putting people under pressure, but when the time comes, he really showed the quality last week to put the ball in the back of the net. Loria on loan from Deportivo Saprissa in Costa Rica. Made his first start with T2 just a couple matches ago, well, about 4 now, against Sacramento. He's progressively gotten better every single match. He gets his feet more on the ground and stabilized here in America. Phillips under little pressure, brings it across the center line. Finds Mulligan, drops to Zambrano, and the switch to Jadama. I think T2's done well to deal with this pressure so far. Really crisp passing through the midfield. They're not forcing anything, and then they're going to look for their chance when it comes. Under pressure, Loria maintains possession, swings it out wide to Asprilla. As you mentioned, Joe, that poking and prodding eventually ends up in a Renzo Zambrano misplayed pass. Horst dribbles forward, now leaves for Hurd. So far, you've seen a similar approach from the Monarchs, but when you're making those small passes, it forces the defense to come pressure, adjust, constantly moving, and that's when those lanes open up. That's when Asprilla can get in behind, or Williamson. Foster is going to hold that front line, but it really opens up the gaps between those defenders. Something certainly to take advantage of with the speed you have on the wing with Asprilla and the leaping ability as well. Creates nightmares for defenses at any level. Langsdorff fouled by Pay at the midline. And without Arboleda, there's still no shortage of pace on the wings there, so you're not getting any respite when it comes to defending this T2 squad. Yeah, both teams without one of their main attacking options, if you will. Victor Arboleda not in the 18 today for T2. And Sebastian Velasquez, who has scored 3 goals, assisted on 3 others, not in the 18 for Monarchs. Reasoning is really just kind of a decision based around minutes. Velasquez has played a lot of minutes here to start the year, so decided to leave him back in Utah and let him get some rest. As Loria's pass for Vitas, blocked away by Brody. You know, I think if you're both coaches, even with the changes, and even missing those key players, you're pretty encouraged by the start here in terms of what they're putting together and what they're trying to do for this game.
Williamson's pass to Mulligan, can't be controlled, that's out to touch. Quarter hour in now. Just joining us, welcome. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Fletcher Johnson and Joe Slevin here with you at Providence Park. Rail Monarchs, your top team in USL's Western Conference. Portland Timbers, too, currently sitting in 4th place in the West. Already 5 more points this year than all of last season, though, for T2. A strong start to the year at home and on the road as the cross comes in and Mangles quickly off his line to pick it up.
We're through that first 15 minutes we talked about. 0-0, comfortable. Both teams pretty even right now in terms of possession.
Spria goes central for Williamson. Not a bad first touch. Horst able to shepherd it out for a goal kick.
You're going to find it pretty hard to push Horst off the ball. He's a big guy there, but it'll be interesting to see how he copes with the pace of Langsdorff and Williamson. We keyed him as the guy to watch for the Timbers here, to see him get on the ball. And right now, maybe not as many touches as he would have wanted, but look for him to maybe drop deeper now and start getting on the ball a little more.
You see some of the numbers from Rail Monarchs this season. Have 10 different goal scorers so far this year. 4 and 1 on the road as well, so not afraid to play away from home. Our Rail Monarchs, which is a good thing for them. They play 5 of their next 8 away from the friendly confines of the new Zions Bank Stadium. Had played at Rio Tinto Stadium throughout their existence until this year when they had a stadium specifically designed for them, about 5,000 seats. So exciting time for Rail Monarchs, and you could say well-deserved as well, given they won the USL regular season championship a year ago.
Absolutely. When you're on the road, it's important that you're organized and you're disciplined. And right now, looking at the game, you're seeing the midfield stay even with each other and communicate.
Here comes Hurd at the corner of the box. Hurd came in on trial, won a contract. He finds his man in the center who heads it over the net, can't put it on frame. That's a dangerous opportunity, as that was Hoffman who had a chance to put it in the back of the net, looking for his 3rd goal of the year, but couldn't quite get it to the right spot on his head.
And a great service here. Hoffman a little bit on that back foot. He's flat-footed, so it's hard to direct that, get a little power on it. But again, encouraging to get that service into the box, and we know that Hurd is going to continue to do that throughout the day.
Ryden and Espria go up to try and win the header. Eventually we'll go out to touch for a Monarchs throw.
And there's a lot of movement within the Monarchs for that front line. It's hard to track. It requires a lot of talk there from T2 to make sure everybody's covered and doing their job when going against this Monarchs front line that, as you noted, has been getting the goals, but also getting the goals from all over the place, 10 different players.
Been impressive the different ways that they've won. They started off the season with goals in the 89th and 90th minutes to pull out a 3-2 win. They've won 1-0 games. They've won high-scoring affairs. They've seemingly been able to be up to the task, no matter what that task was on any given day. Again, so far here, still relatively early in the season, about 1/3 of the way through the USL regular season campaign. Horst, the center back, dribbling all the way forward, still with it at his feet. And bad pass is cut away by Jadama. Now here comes T2, a chance to counterattack the other direction. Loria can't play Langsdorff because he's offside. Lewis pressured. Ball drops back to Phillips, who goes out to Mulligan, able to shoulder it, keep it in play. Defended by Ryden. Mulligan, 1 of 2 on this T2 side to start all 12 matches so far this year. Little 1-2 with Espria trying to win it back. Espria knocks down Hurd and a foul's called.
Really good transition there for the Timbers. If you look at Horst coming into maybe unfamiliar territory, losing possession, it finds itself to Williamson, and he does a good time just putting his foot on the ball, calming it down. And yes, they didn't come off with the service they wanted, but really good job transitioning right from defense into offense.
Really important piece for T2. Exploited Los Dos there last week on the counterattack. have the pieces to be able to do so if they can take advantage of the opportunities that come up over the course of the 90 minutes. Jadama has it at his feet too long and turns it over. Chang dribbling forward. Dribbles towards the end line, trying to get around Vitas. Central for Hoffman, who lays it off. Back to Hoffman, shot just wide of Alex Mangel's left post. Hoffman will rue that opportunity as this match goes along. A little 1-2 in the box, wide open opportunity from 12 yards away and can't find the frame.
And right there, that layoff probably needs to be on the left foot for his teammate to take that shot. But Hoffman, again, good job adjusting, and he did not find that corner, but I don't think that Mangel had that covered.
Ryden beats out Asprilla on the header, but Mulligan gets it back to Asprilla. Langsdorff has the overlapping run from Asprilla. Now we'll play it for him, and Williamson able to get on the end of it. Now he tries to find Asprilla, turns it, spins it, but can't quite get it to him. Here comes Langsdorff with it at the corner. Ryden blocks his corner kick, but falls back to Langsdorff. Dribbling into the box. Pay strong to come over and win it. Pressure still not released. Hurd, now Ryden is able to get it out to his teammate Hernandez, and then out to touch off of Zambrano.
Nice spell of pressure there. Again, Langsdorff, that pressure creates chances, and some good runs there from Asprilla, from Williamson to get in behind.
You look at Kalen Ryden coming up to take the throw in his first season with the Monarchs. Scored 4 goals this season, both braces, against T2 March 31st, against Swope Park Rangers on May 9th. And as you might imagine, he was the USL Team of the Week performer both times after those matches.
You know, when we looked at the start of the game, Williamson was a little bit flat there with Langsdorff. He's dropped back now, doing a good job. It allows him to get on the ball more. It allows him to see more of the field. So look for him to probably sit now behind, almost as a shadow striker, as opposed to up top with Langsdorff.
How much of an adjustment is that for a player like Williamson, who really the entirety of this season has played in that holding midfielder role, to now come up into more of an attacking midfielder type position?
You know, it's interesting. You don't want to get caught chasing the game. That's going to pull you out of position. That's going to tire you out. But through the first 15, we noted he's not on the ball as much. So this drop back, yes, it's an adjustment. He's learning the position a little bit more, but I think it requires more touches from that holding midfield for him to create chances for Langsdorff.
Williamson under pressure, drops back for Jadamu, picks it up at the corner of his 18. Lewis has come back into this position, playing in front of, or excuse me, between Jadama and Phillips to help T2 build out of the back. Lewis in his 3rd year with T2. And a bad turnover there. Here comes Hernandez the other direction. Go the long switch for Chang, who can't control it.
Again, that high press, it can create chances like we saw there, but if those passes go off, T2's in a good position. And now look at this. We have Williamson dropping back, getting on the ball. He wants to control. He is capable of these passes.
Asprilla dummies on for Mulligan, who picks it up. Mulligan, central for Langsdorff, who dummies it on. Loria will try and outrace Brody to get there, and he will. He'll dribble towards the end line, get around his man, into the box, into the 6-yard box. Pass deflected by Horst, and Monarchs clear.
Really good job by Loria there to go at his man.
Zambrano goes over the top for Langsdorff. It hits him in the back. He was onside. Would have been a chance to try and put something on frame, but just couldn't quite contort his body to allow the ball to get around him.
But I think if you're Cameron Knowles, you're seeing this. This is the same success that you had against Los Dos. These clever passes, these disguised balls to create chances for T2, and they're continuing today.
Chang with it on the far side, defended by Vitas. He'll lay off for Hernandez. Back to Chang. Little 1-2 between them, and Lewis steps in to cut it out.
You know, I wouldn't call it necessarily a cautious start by either team, but I think they're both aware of how dangerous the other side is, so they don't want to do something too crazy. They're going to take their chances where they earn them.
Here comes Asprilla over the top. He's onside. Zambrano was the one that found him. 1v1 versus Ryden. Tries the floated cross. It's blocked by Ryden, and now we'll try and use his pace to get around Ryden. Still has it. Goes central. Langsdorf gets his head to it. A save made by Leaker. My goodness. What a play by Leaker to keep that out of the back of the net.
Not sure how much he knew about that. Langsdorf gets his head on it. Quick, and it comes down, but right place, right time.
Leaker got a touch to it, and then Brody cleaned it up. Great run by Langsdorf. Great ability, especially with the pace on that ball coming in, to be able to get something on it and put it on frame. But the save even better. Hernandez. Brody dribbling at Vitas. Zambrano comes over to help. Send the cross in, deflects in the direction of Hurd. Zambrano and Lewis win it to the feet of Asprilla. Asprilla against Ryden. Goes to Langsdorf. Langsdorf holds it up enough. Now Zambrano. And back to Mulligan.
You know, we touched on the technique there that it took to steer that ball onto frame. But again, Langsdorf has the work rate up front, but also has the quality to do little things like that that give your team a chance. And similar to last week, Williamson almost found himself a ball at his feet.
Williamson loses possession there, tackles Hoffman from behind, gets the ball, it looked like, but a foul called. It'll be a free kick for the Monarchs. About 35 yards from goal.
And one or two T2 players getting caught on the ball here and there, just keeping the ball moving. That's where the success is coming from. If they're dwelling on it, looking for something more, I think that high press is manifesting itself in some turnovers.
See Williamson lose possession, then try and come back and make up for it.
You know, to me, it looks like he gets the ball there, honestly. Good tackle to win it, but obviously not how the ref judged it.
Portillo and Charlie Adams, both in the vicinity of the ball, waiting for Rosendo Mendoza's whistle. It'll be Adams to strike, puts it on frame, saved by Mangles. Easy work, or at least he made it look like it. Did the T2 keeper, making his third consecutive appearance.
You know, it's pretty far out to go for goal. It looked like he tried to get a technique where that ball's knuckling in at the keeper, but I think Mangles saw it the whole way. We talked about their first time when they met, 3 goals off of set pieces, so I'm sure this is something T2 has really prepared for today.
I think it's fair to say, and I think Cameron Knowles would tell you, that early on in the season, that was the weak point of this T2 team, was their defense on set pieces. And really, over the last 5-6 matches, they've cleaned up a lot of those ills, and it's led to many clean sheets that we've seen. They're tied for first in the league with 6 clean sheets in 11 matches. They also have scored 21 goals as well, which helps the cause, so to speak. Brody's cross into the box. Easy work for Jadama with his right boot. Brano picks it up near midfield. Ryden deflects the ball forward from Zambrano. Now Mulligan is fouled by Hurd.
I've been impressed with Mulligan in his start to the game.
He's definitely knuckling there, Joe.
Maybe not as much as he wanted it to. But I was touching on the fact that I think Mulligan right now, he's done a good job getting forward when he needs to, but when he needs to make a defensive stand, he's shown a lot of experience so far. He did a good job against Los Dos, pushing the pace, pushing forward, and forcing his midfielder to track back with him, which tires him out, it keeps him honest. And today, we've seen him do the same thing with Asprilla on this right side.
Great work to control by Zambrano, and he'll find Mulligan forward. He keeps it in play, defended by Hurd. Now dribbling to the corner of the 18. He'll play it off of Hurd. And we'll have our first corner kick of the match for either team. It'll come in the 29th minute for T2.
And this is what we're talking about. Mulligan getting forward, forces Hurd, the key guy for the Monarchs today, to come back and defend, to stand him up. It's an expenditure of energy. It's something that he's going to need to do for the full 90 minutes now.
Williamson will come over to take. We mentioned 2 goals in the last 2 matches. The first one he scored this year was that 92nd minute goal 2 matches ago against Sounders 2 up at Cheney Stadium to earn the win. A right-footed outswinger, driven ball towards the back post. Header won by Phillips, make that Vitas just over the top of Leaker's bar, though.
And I'm pretty sure that's probably how they built that up is, hey, float it to that back post. We think Vitas has his man and he can head it back across, and a good chance for the T2 today.
Ryden rose to win it, but misjudged it, went over the top of him. Vitas was waiting there. Couldn't quite put it on frame. Taylor Pay, a former MLS Timber, dribbles all the way to the center line before finding his teammate Ryden. Portillo plays it behind Hoffman.
We talk about a similar style of play and how these teams have started, but so far I think there's been a little bit more for T2 today for them getting forward and creating chances.
Foul called on Ryden. As you look at Rosendo Mendoza. Long switch off the restart. This a bit mishit by Mulligan. Was looking for Loria and played it really just directly in between Loria and Vitas, and no one was going to get on the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know if he thought Loria was checking his run and was going to pull back outside, but he was trying to go in behind. Mulligan puts it out for touch.
Half hour in, still scoreless. Few half chances for either side. You could argue the best chance of the match came as Foster Langsdorff got his head to it inside the 6-yard box on a driven ball in from Dyron Asprilla. But Leaker and Brody were there to clear it away. Here come T2. Asprilla has space in front of him. Now we'll cut it back on Ryden, who is chasing him. Decide to settle a bit. And T2 will switch the point of attack.
It's a good job slowing it down there. They didn't have what they wanted. Bring it back around and start working the ball forward.
Jadama has been a rock in central defense for T2 this year. Started all 12 matches after 31 appearances with Tulsa Roughnecks in 2017. The Gambia native came to the U.S. as an immigrant and has played down in Chile as well.
That type of consistency, 12 games, you're able to build almost a routine. You know what's coming to you. You know the people you're playing with. So throughout the season, you get a lot better than those first couple of games.
We've really seen this team gel in that way as well. Started off with a tough defeat to Sounders 2. But since that point, 6-2-2. As Asprilla finds the end of this one. Gets it over the top of Leaker, and a penalty kick is called. Leaker takes down Asprilla, and T2 will have a chance to take the lead from the spot.
I really, you know, the chance created here again, the athleticism of Asprilla to get there. He gets a touch, and I think that's why the Monarchs are so upset. They feel he got a good look on goal.
David Horst and Michael Chang arguing with Rosendo Mendoza. Not happy, but it will be a chance to score for T2, and I believe it will be Asprilla who is the one with the opportunity to put it in the back of the net. He's got one for T2 so far this season. And he will try and give Portland the lead in the 34th minute. Monarchs have faced one penalty kick so far this year. It was not saved as Orange County scored. Asprilla steps, strikes, saved. and saved by Leaker. T2 miss out on a glorious opportunity to take the lead, and what a save by Jake Leaker.
He guesses right. That ball's at a height that's very comfortable for the keeper, but I was about to say, didn't want to jinx it. You typically don't have the guy who earns the PK take the PK.
And Leaker happy to sit on this one for a minute and let things slow down a bit.
Seemed as if Asprilla maybe pulled rank there. Last week we saw the PK go to Langsdorff, and he put it in the back of the net, so it's interesting that Langsdorff didn't get on this one.
Lewis slips and falls, and it creates a turnover for Monarchs and a chance to attack the other direction. Here comes Adams. Adams will send the early cross in, headed away by Phillips. Portillo heads straight up in the air. Hernandez able to control.
And a save like that, you can give your team momentum. It can give encouragement to the Monarchs, that PK save. And for T2, you're kind of looking around. We should be up 1-0. You're frustrated, and it's important to keep your composure here.
Rudden beats out Asprilla, and Asprilla will be our first player to go into the book here in the 36th minute, after Ryden had beat him out.
And maybe signs of that frustration in that tackle there. Clever little flick over the foot. Clear foul there. They tell you to get the ball or the man. Definitely got the man on that play there.
Taylor, you good? Hey, ref, was there a yellow card on that one? There was. Oh, yeah, correct. Yep.
Did you hear some of the communication between Marshall Stoddard, the trainer for Real Monarchs, our head referee Rosendo Mendoza, and Kalen Ryden? So a bit of a slowdown in the action here as we watch Ryden get back to his feet. Does not have to come off as a yellow card was issued. It's always these type of moments, Joe, that are interesting. There's kind of a stoppage in play, chance for maybe players to reset and see a lot of goals scored in these types of moments.
Another set piece. Again, Timber's got to be alive. You can't turn off. Yes, there's a little bit of a stoppage, but be aware, track your man, and everybody needs to be talking.
Portillo and Adams once again to stand over it. Portillo would strike with his right, Adams with his left. Two-man wall for T2. It'll be Adams. Header won by T2. That was Langsdorff who won it. And Zambrano will carry the other direction. 3v3 if they hurry. Now Asprilla with it. Asprilla, diagonal run by Gloria, who's able to get a touch in front of Leaker. Gloria stays down. Shouts for potentially another penalty kick to be given, but none given by Mendoza.
A great cutting run there from Laurie. He has the pace to get on the end of it, but a good job there by Leaker to get out and pressure and cut down that angle.
We'll have to take another look at that one at the next stoppage, as Monarchs back in possession.
You know, you talked about what does the preparation against a team that you've already played look like? Well, I think they maybe saw something that first game that they're exploiting.
Hurd, central for Adams. Adams sends the cross in towards the back post, headed away easily by Vitas. Only as far as 45 yards away from goal. Brody picks it up there. Now out to Chang. Chang dribbling. He leaves for Brody, who thought that Chang was just going to keep dribbling. And Asprilla has it at his feet. Now to Vitas. Vitas. Play back to Asprilla. And Portland will slow down the pace.
You know, as organized as you are in that back, you give the people up top a lot of freedom, and we see Asprilla switch sides here now on the left side, as those four have license to move around in that final third for T2.
Brody forced to take a touch in front of Asprilla. Leaker comes all the way off his line. Bit of miscommunication, and Brody just turns and fires it out towards the far side. Has a teammate who chases back. Believe that was Chang to keep it in play. And now here comes Ride in the other direction. Mulligan gets in front of Hurd. And now Loria. Defended by Ryden. Mulligan over the top for Langsdorff. Langsdorff tries a touch around Pay, but he reads it. Loria wins it back though, and his ball well too far out in front of Asprilla, who was not making the run.
You have coaches tell you a lot of times you win that ball, make your first pass, get it settled down. It looks like they're trying that hero ball right from the get-go. They need to calm it down and keep possession.
Hernandez finds Hoffman, lays it off for Chang, now out to Hurd. Hurd dribbling top of the box. Williamson can't deflect the pass, and Portillo has it. He'll go out wide to Ryden. Ryden send the cross in towards the back post. Headed out for the first corner kick of the match for Monarchs as we look at the last chance for T2.
And right here, he gets to the ball, gets a touch, but again, Leaker cuts down the angle. You maybe want to see him flick that over, and I think he caught the full brunt of that challenge. Once or twice we've seen Loria open up with that pace, and that's going to be something that's going to develop through the game as this game opens up.
So we see Portillo come over to take the corner. It'll be a right-footed outswinger. He will play short to Adams. Adams defended by Zambrano. Adams goes and finds Pay, but he can't put really anything on it. And the chance to counter is on for T2. Zambrano again, ball caught up under his feet. Defenders were there. And now here comes Asprilla the other way. He beats out Hernandez. Now dribbling at Pay. He'll dribble a corner of the 18, take the shot, and wide of the net.
Again, good defensive work there by Asprilla, and he earns this chance here. Going right at Pay. Quick, clever touch on that right foot, and he is trying to look for that back post. Doesn't catch it quite like he wants to, but again, rewarded for that work he's doing on the defensive end.
Final 3.5 minutes plus stoppage time here at the end of the first half. It's been an entertaining one. Both teams with some opportunities. Jadama wins the header. Well, still in the air. And a foul called on Zambrano. As Rosendo Mendoza saw him undercut Adams in the center circle. Zambrano, another player, the Venezuelan, 23 years old. In his second year with T2, began his career in the Venezuela's Primera Division and has 3 appearances with the Venezuelan men's national team. Another guy who really has grown over the course of this year. Saw a little bit of time last year, but is really a big part of the success T2's had here in 2018.
Absolutely, and a lot of the stuff he does isn't going to show up on that stat sheet. The work rate, the organization, and he's had a solid day so far. We haven't said his name much, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. He's doing his job. He's getting the people involved that he needs to.
Of course, with the long switch, well, really looked like he was trying to switch the point of attack, but ball went central. Hurd was there, but Mangles quickly off his line to pick it up.
I've seen a couple of those balls, maybe sliced a little bit. They're looking for something over the top that's close in on net, but Timbers have been guilty of it a little bit as well. It's been these smaller passages to play where they're playing the ball on the ground that they've had their success. So I'm sure coming into halftime, they'll understand that and look to do more of that during the second 45.
Phillips under pressure from Hoffman. We'll play back to Mangles. Hoffman wearing the captain's armband for Monarchs today. Horst wins the header over Langsdorff. Vitas, a dangerous pass backwards to Jadama. Hernandez got to it first, but trying to play it around Jadama. The big center back did enough.
You gotta be closing this half out. You don't want to give anything up right during the end of the first half.
Loria leaves for Williamson, but those two not on the same page, and Hurd comes back to win it. Bad pass forward from Leaker. And now Lewis with it. Will play through for Zambrano. Zambrano, another save by Leaker in the 45th minute. Zambrano was in on net 1v1 versus the keeper, and Leaker got his right arm there to block the shot.
On the other side of things, going into the half, having just scored a goal would be a massive upside. A great ball from Esprilla, and Zambrano keeping that run going. Leaker does an amazing job to get his right hand to that, because that is going into the back of the net.
Jake Leaker has made a penalty kick save and 2 other incredible saves here in the first half to keep his team level. Final 15 seconds before stoppage time. Have not seen too much injury time, so would not be surprised to see very little stoppage time here at the end of the first half.
Perfect weight on the ball, looks for that chip, exactly how you should be doing it. Again, Leaker doing his job. So we've seen success for the Timbers when it comes to them putting those slice balls through, those runs through the back. They're so hard to track, and I think when you go into half, that's what you know. That's where your success is coming from. You need more of that during the second half.
2 minutes of stoppage time here at the end of the first half, as Josh Hurd is down behind the play, but we continue on. And now he gets up, hobbling, but is back to his feet, and they play it out. And Hurd going down, grabbing his right, or make that left leg, as Marshall Stoddard, the Monarchs trainer, will come out to take a look at him.
I don't see what he picked up there, but we saw him in his final third. He got up and limped to half because he didn't want to keep that offside line so deep and have T2 take advantage. So had to limp his way forward about 20, 30 yards, and now he's getting checked out.
Guy that this organization's really high on. Spent the past couple seasons with the Bethlehem Steel, 38 appearances, 11 games started. Comes over here on trial and basically earned a contract. Impressed the staff enough to offer him a contract. A guy that maybe in some sense is similar to Foster Langsdorff, and you know he's going to be a non-stop worker over the course of 90 minutes out there on the field. A
really good story. You like to see the success that he's had, because he's now showing the work rate, but he's also giving you the quality, the goals, the assists, and it's unfortunate to see him go down, but let's hope he can work his way back in the game.
We're nearly through the 2 minutes of stoppage time here at the end of the first half, but you'd have to imagine after that stoppage for about a minute, that will play into a 48th minute as we're back to action. Taylor Pay, David Horst playing it back and forth with one another. 2 players very familiar with this building, having spent a portion of their careers with the MLS Timbers. Oddly enough, their careers did not overlap here in Portland. David Horst was here from 2011 to 2013. Taylor Pay from 2014 to 2016 as Esprilla earns the ball back for T2. Now here comes Williamson. His pass for Esprilla laying it off is cut out by Ryden, but it is a second corner kick of the first half for T2, and what will likely be the last bit of action and last opportunity for either side here in the first 45.
Can they nick something here at the end? Really encouraging to see the pressure they're maintaining even here at the end of the half.
Langsdorff standing right in front of Leaker. No one else inside the 6-yard box. All sprayed towards the back post. Esprilla tries an audacious bicycle kick attempt. Almost goes to the corner flag before it rolls across the end line.
Probably caught a glimpse of the Champions League before he started today's game, trying to put in that bicycle kick.
As Real Madrid got it done. Sorry if anyone has the match on their DVR and is planning on watching it later. It's still worth watching. There's some pretty interesting moments. As we continue on into the 49th minute. Zambrano defended by Pay. Central finds Langsdorff, can't control it. Have to imagine here that we will be hearing the first half whistle, and we do, as the ball's at the feet of Lewis. Some golden opportunities, including a penalty kick chance for T2 goes begging. throughout the course of the first half. Joe, your thoughts on the first 45?
I think the Timbers, too, had the better passages of play. They created the chances. They earned the PK. They need to have the discipline coming out of halftime to continue that. We saw against Los Dos, maybe the foot off the gas. Going into the second, they're going to look to push the pace even more.
Well, Monarchs got the better of T2 back in March at Rio Tinto Stadium. Timbers 2 trying to return the favor. We're scoreless at the break. 45 minutes down, 45 to go, as Portland Timbers 2 and Real Monarchs do battle here on a beautiful Memorial Day Saturday in Portland.
You ever wondered what 102 appearances for your club looks like documented? There it is in TIFO right there, the Brad Ring.
With T2.
Oh, and it's a goal. What a strike from Los Dos. Efrain Alvarez has come into the game.
15-year-old.
Strikes it. Now Alvarez with a shot. And what a strike by Alvarez, who now has 6 goals in the last 3 matches.
Now just outside the 18. Strikes it with his right foot. And right on cue. A huge goal.
And finds Langsdorff. He takes the shot and puts it in the back of the net. Langsdorff has a brace in the first half.
Takes hesitation step, and it's the save produced by Eric Dick.
Saved by Crapo.
Put numbers back.
Will strike it and put it in the back of the net. Marvin Loria likely seals the 3 points with his first ever goal in USL.
This one comes into the center. There's your goal. The goal. The goal for OKC. The header by Callum Ross. The streak is over, and the Greens have the lead 1-0. The power outage is no more.
Into the box, takes the shot, and in the back of the net, Aguilar trying to keep it out. The shot taken, and what a save.
Double off with Gallagher. Palmed aside by Ranjetsingh. Slip one into the ball, gets by, and into the back of the net.
Halftime at Providence Park as Portland Timbers 2 and Real Monarchs SLC are scoreless, though T2's had plenty of opportunities to get on the board in the first half. We welcome you back into the broadcast booth once again. Fletcher Johnson, Joe Slevin here with you. Joe, 45 minutes in the books. Both these teams carried a ton of momentum in here today, but no goals to show for it thus far.
I think when we look at the stats, you're going to see a fairly even game on paper. As this game went on, we saw T2 really put together the better passes to play, and you saw them get chances, and you're going to look for that in the next 45.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the first half highlights. And we start off in the 20th minute. It was a Monarchs shot from Charlie Hoffman.
And a good passage of play here from the Monarchs. I'm seeing it go wide. It's the goalkeeper for T2, and he's happy.
Really good opportunity there. The 1-2 played between Hoffman and Chang. And Mangles maybe a bit lucky that that one rolled wide of his post. We move to the 25th minute. Langsdorff had an opportunity to open the scoring.
Really good strengths there from Aspria to stay up, and Langsdorff unfortunate to see that go into the keeper.
5 minutes later, it was Vitas who won the header off the corner.
Tough to get the power on that back post, but right idea from Vitas.
Well, a couple minutes later, it was really the golden opportunity created after this Vitas header. It was in the 33rd minute. And it was Dyron Aspria who was getting forward. An opportunity created by a ball forward from Foster Langsdorff. A nice touch over the top. And your thoughts?
And a clever flick there. Aspria on the end of it, and he earns that PK. I think through the highlights we've seen the momentum that T2 had. And then the save there again doesn't put the ball where he needs to. Very comfortable height for the keeper.
Yeah, Aspria will be thinking about that as this match progresses. A chance to put it in the back of the net, put his team in front just about 10 minutes before halftime. We progressed through the rest of the first half. There was really one other great opportunity, and it was for T2 and Renzo Zambrano.
And Zambrano, really unfortunate to not see this go back in. And you look at these moments, you hope they're the ones that you point at, and you don't want to be regretting them later on.
Take a look at the first half stats. Really outside of possession, it's been a very, very even match.
Absolutely. Again, though, looking at the highlights, T2 really good today in terms of finding possession with a purpose. Let's hope they can continue that.
8 shots to 4 in favor of T2, but still no goals to show for it. As we mentioned, these two teams squared off back on March 31st. It was a 4-2 win for Real Monarchs at Rio Tinto Stadium. And now T2 looking to try and avoid the season sweep, as this will be the last time these two teams meet in the regular season. We'll see one substitution at the break for Real Monarchs. It will be a familiar name to those that follow T2, Michael Gallagher, who was here a couple years ago, coming on in place of Josh Hurd, who incidentally went down injured at the end of the first half. So Hurd off, and Michael Gallagher, the 23-year-old Sammamish, Washington native, is on. And it looks like Gallagher will play in one of the outside backs positions. So Brody, Andrew Brody, who was playing right back, will move forward and be playing one of those winger positions.
Unfortunate to see Hurd go down with that. T2, for them coming out of the half, you would think Cameron Knowles says, you know the goal's coming. Keep doing what you're doing. Have the faith. Continue doing this process because you guys had the better of the first 45.
No substitutions at the break for T2. As Monarchs cycle the ball around. Ball over the top from Pei. Finds Hoffman. Pops it up in the air. Now Chang picks it up. Drops to Hernandez, corner of the 18. Play to Portillo, who's allowed time and space on the ball. The long switch over here to Gallagher, who will get one of his first touches of the match. Now to Brody. Brody defended by Vitas. Dribbling central. Hernandez back to Adams. Takes a shot. Deflected by Lewis. And Williamson controls, but eventually knocked out to touch by Jadama.
And already we've seen the Monarchs a little bit further up the field. I think when they were tracking back, defending T2, they felt they were getting caught. And when they cleared the ball, there was nobody forward for them.
Loria cuts out the pass and comes the other direction. He's got Langsdorff central, plays him. Now Langsdorff plays it back to Loria. Loria will now try and find Langsdorff. No, he'll go back post for Aspria, who is able to get on the end of it in front of Ryden. Defended there by Ryden. Ball central now, cut away by Pay.
Good passage of play there. I think Langsdorff could have let that come across his body. He was one-on-one with Horst there, and I think he's got him for pace, but Loria, good job getting up and down that sideline.
As we mentioned, T2 tied for first in the league with 6 clean sheets in 11 matches. That has remained intact thus far here today as they look for a 7th. As Ryden able to knock the pass out to touch.
It's nice to have that defensive capability in your pocket, especially when you can put 7 goals in the back of net as well.
Lewis dribbles all the way forward into the corner of the 18, cuts it back behind Langsdorff. Vitas picks it up, takes the shot, deflected and out for the 3rd corner kick of the day for T2.
I think everybody for T2 pouring forward towards the goal. The ball is pulled back, and because of that, it misses all of the offensive players for T2 here. Again, you see everybody straight lines to the goal. I think Aspria maybe wanted to hold his run, and Vitas, as he hits it here, gets Brody right in the side.
So Brody back to his feet, and Williamson will come over to take the corner.
Under pressure to start, that's a good response from T2 to get this game going again.
7 men in and around the box for T2. Williamson will wait to strike. He'll play short for Loria, goes back to Williamson, sends it in. Vitas goes down. Not sure what happened there. It was turned around and defended by Gallagher.
Again, this ball in from Williamson. Vitas looking to get free, and I think he gets tangled up. He does have a rightful claim there for PK. A lot of time you'll see contact in the box like that, and you can see it called either way, yes or no, but I think there Vitas had a pretty rightful claim that he was impeded as he tried to get to that ball from Williamson.
Mark that as a significant moment here early in the 2nd half. Oh, and Vitas catches Hernandez and will receive a card for that.
That's a tough one to see. He got all of Vitas's kick there. I don't think there's anything malicious. I just think he got to the ball quicker and unfortunately comes off for the worse.
So Vitas goes in the book. Both yellow cards issued today to T2 players, Dyron Aspria and Vitas, who are on loan from the MLS Timbers. Vitas recovering from an injury, played 45 minutes against Los Dos.
Again, trying to clear that ball, misses it completely.
Here's Portillo. 2-man wall, stands 10 yards away. Portillo will strike, and Horst wins the header. But directly towards this near side, and Loria able to knock it off Chang to touch.
Horst is always going to be a handful on those set pieces. A massive presence back there. Got to keep your eye on him for those.
David Horst, in his 2nd season with Real Salt Lake, is on loan from the MLS side here today. Spent the last 3 years prior with Houston, and then 2011 through 13 with the MLS Timbers, making 39 appearances and 33 starts. He He is certainly a hulking presence as Vitas loses the ball. Brody able to knock it away, and now back with it at his feet, dribbling to the corner of the 18. Cross comes in. It's hard behind Hoffman, and no one was there at the back stick for Monarchs.
You're exactly right. Nobody there. They don't have numbers forward. They're so deep defending because T2 is really pressing them backwards. So when they get those chances, one, maybe two runners in the box for the Monarchs.
T2 with the majority of the possession here thus far in the second half. Ball in the direction of Aspria from Jadama. Picked up easily by Leaker.
We haven't seen too many of those come off today. I'm curious to see if, are they going to keep trying those? Are they going to stay with those balls through the midfield, quick, clever passes?
Williamson pressures Portillo, nearly wins it back for T2. And Zambrano does work to win it back, and Pay nearly let it run out, and Langsdorff nearly got to it. Vitas wins the header over Brody, but it's out to touch.
We talk about the value Zambrano, that work he's doing right there, winning the ball, finding his offensive players, but it's not going to show up on the stat sheet. It's not going to be necessarily the #1 talking point, but he's had a good day in that midfield so far.
Gallagher's throw in quickly taken away by T2. But Monarchs win it back. Bit disjointed here to start the second half. Both teams try and find their footing once again. You get the sense that, as you mentioned in the first half, Joe, both these teams want to put their best foot forward and really make a statement against each other in a top-level matchup of USL teams in the West.
And I think if we looked at this game before, we knew we were going to have 7-3 again. We weren't going to have that Los Dos game, knowing the quality was on the field for the Monarchs and T2, and that's what's happening right here in the second half.
David Horst will get a talking to from our head of referee, Rosendo Mendoza. As Williamson will get us restarted. Dangerous floated ball into the box. Leaker comes off his line to pick it up. Monarchs quickly try and attack the other way, but Zambrano quick to pick out the pass and earn back possession.
That floated ball in there, it's going to be tough to find the back of the net, especially when Leaker's reading it like he did, and it puts him off almost on a counterattack for Monarchs. But again, Zambrano doing the work, cutting out the pass.
Ball over the top. Langsdorff taken down by Pay, and we'll see a yellow card. The first one of the night. Or will we, for the Monarchs? As Mendoza will go over and talk with his far side official, Justin St. Pierre, to determine whether or not Langsdorff was offside. Quick conversation. Mendoza will come back and issue the yellow card to Pay for taking down Langsdorff. So the first booking of the afternoon for Monarchs.
And the clever ball here over the top. Langsdorff gets the wrong side of Pay, and I don't think it was an offsides conversation. I think it was more, is he the last man? Was that a clear-cut chance to the point where you give that red card to Pay? Because Langsdorff, I think he's on the end of that ball, but he's even with Horst. That's just a yellow.
It'll be a dangerous free kick opportunity from a very similar position to where Loria scored 8 days ago against Los Dos in second half stoppage time.
Beautiful ball. He curled over the wall last time against Los Dos. They've probably seen the tape. They're aware of it. Do you try to catch him off guard and go keeper side on this one? Do you keep it low? He has a lot of options here.
Loria takes 3 giant steps back. He's got Williamson standing over it as well. Whistle blows. Loria will strike it, does try and go to that near post, this time just wide of that upper right corner.
Head in his hands. I think he thought he had it there again, right over the wall. It's bending, it's searching, a really well hit. Unfortunately, it's just a little wide for T2.
Certainly looked to be close. This angle will really tell the story.
Does such a good job to get his foot up and over that ball so that curl continues, keeps it down. I think Loria maybe want that one back and just a little bit more to the left.
Phillips wins the header off the restart. Now to Williamson. Williamson taken down by Portillo.
Smart play there by Eric Williamson. You see him looking for that contact, getting his body in the way. He knows it's coming, looking for his player, and you go down. I think Portillo was happy to oblige as well with that hand on the shoulder.
Portillo now receiving a talking to, will not go in the book. And this time it'll be Zambrano to take.
A lot of space here on this right side. T2 seem to have been trying some things on those early free kicks. Let's see what they have here.
Zambrano will try and go back post, but again, easy stuff for Leaker as he's not able to curl it enough to give his teammates much of an opportunity. Jadama beats out Hoffman to the ball, but Williamson can't keep it in play.
That's what you want your center back to do, to make that forward's life as difficult as possible. He's right on his back, continuing to pressure him, not letting him get comfortable or get a touch on that ball. T2 midfield's done a really good job just calming the game down when they need to, putting their foot on the ball and finding the right passes.
Rudden puts the header straight up in the air. Mid central by Chang. Lewis fouls Hernandez. Quick restart as Adams brings it forward. Central for Hoffman, who lays back to Hernandez. Diagonal run made by Chang. Controls it, corner of the box. He's outside, and cross comes in. Chidama heads away. Lewis heads on. Williamson picks up. Plays Zambrano, who's got acres of space in front of him. 4v4 if T2 hurry. Will play outside for Loria. Defended there by Gallagher. Loria dribbles around Gallagher, into the box, plays central, just too far in front of Langsdorff, who now comes back to pick it up. He'll go to Vitas. Now to Lewis. T2 searching for the opener. Zambrano outside for Mulligan.
I don't think the Monarchs necessarily have an answer for the pace that Loria has and has shown today. As he's getting down the line at will right now, going at his man. Unfortunate that Foster Langsdorff pulled out, whereas Loria thought he was just going to be flashing right across goal.
An hour through here at Providence Park. Portland Timbers 2-0, Real Monarchs 0. Howard Asprilla had a penalty kick opportunity in the 34th minute to open up the scoring. Was saved by Jake Leaker as he dove to his right to block the penalty kick opportunity. As Mulligan dribbles forward into the box. Mulligan tries to earn his team a corner. Pay mishits the clearance. Chang able to send it forward off the end line, though, to prevent the corner kick opportunity for Portland. Asprilla, Mulligan. Mulligan still with it. He's got Asprilla in front of him. Plays central for Williamson. Way too much on it, though, and it goes all the way through to Brody. Brody with a nice touch around Vitas, but too much on it as Lewis will pick it up. Dribble back into his own half and play back to Mangles.
Encouraging. We talked about coming out, continue what you were doing in the first half for T2, and they've done just that. All players up top are contributing. All of them are doing their job, and you want to see them get that 1-0 lead.
Pay wins the header on the direct ball forward from Phillips. And we'll see a second substitution for Real Monarchs coming in the 62nd minute. It'll be Jose Hernandez coming off, the diminutive Arizona native who's on loan from RSL. Karsten Hanlon will be the man who comes on. The Centennial, Colorado native, 24 years old in his second season with Real Monarchs. Started 5 games in 2017, did Hanlon. Midfielder, so we'll see if this is a like-for-like substitution, as Jose Hernandez was playing in that attacking midfielder role.
And his brother Jacob Hanlon actually played at University of Portland, so nice little connection there for the Hanlon family.
Absolutely. Everyone's connected to the Northwest. And everyone that matters, right? As we're back to action.
We haven't seen too much through the, that defensive midfield. Look at all the T2 players that are pressed high up. You have almost 3 forwards.
Diagonal run made by Esprilla, who tries to outleap Leaker. But Leaker's 6'4" frame and the wingspan able to outjump Esprilla and get to that ball. Now Loria dribbling forward. Important tackle there by Portillo, wins the ball back. Chang's ball central, finds a T2 player. And here comes Portland the other direction. Esprilla, very active in the first half. Hasn't quite made as much noise here in the second half. Now Lewis with it in the center circle. The Jamaican dribbles forward.
I think we've said Loria's name probably the most. He's been so active on the wing, coming inside, checking 2, checking away, runs in behind. It's been nice to see him get on the ball and create.
And he creates the long switch opportunity over to Vitas. Defended by Gallagher. Help coming for Gallagher. He'll play central for Zambrano. Now to Loria, who dummies on to Williamson. Portillo beats out Williamson, then nutmegs him, and here come Monarchs the other way. Jadama was coming over to pressure Brody, who really just kind of popped it forward and made it easy for Jadama to win back possession.
Just the mere presence of Jadama there, I think Brody thought the contact or a challenge was coming, slides in, and Jadama just has to chase down the flick on.
6'1", 170 is Jadama. As diagonal run here coming from Williamson. Pay wins the header and out to touch.
A great ball in there, but he maybe is even just happy to see it go out as they're pushing that pressure, and now they have the ball in the offensive third.
Williamson to Loria. Loria dribbling around his man. Oh, gets all the way into the box, and a penalty kick called. It'll be a second penalty kick opportunity for T2 to take the lead. As Hanlon is the guilty party. Loria had gotten around him. Hanlon was holding on for dear life. And Mendoza points to the spot.
This is the 3rd time we've seen Loria do this. He's so clever with how he uses his body. He has Hanlon on his shoulder. He's in complete and total control of this situation. This touch inside, you either take the ball or the man, and in this case, he gets the man.
So it will be Renzo Zambrano that has the opportunity to take the penalty kick this time. Has not taken one this year. T2 now 3 for 4 on the season with Esprilla's miss earlier this match. Zambrano will strike it with his right foot. Can Leaker do it again? Zambrano puts it off the crossbar. Straight up into the air, and it ends in a goal kick.
If you're T2 at this point, you're questioning, how do we find the back of the net? This is the second PK they've had today, and it's in the back of your head. Leaker already has a save. I have to get it away from him. He's searching for that upper corner, and he puts it too high.
And I think the question certainly has to be asked. You have a guy who had a hat trick 8 days ago in Foster Langsdorff. converted a penalty kick as a part of that hat trick, but did not take either of the penalties here this afternoon.
And I don't know if there's a good answer for that. You want to see him fight. You want to see him grab that ball, go to the penalty spot, and be your goal scorer. So be curious to see what the thought process is for those first 2 PKs.
T2 is readying their first substitution. We'll see that at the next stoppage in play. This game has been there for the taking for T2, but they have not taken advantage thus far. Foul called on Jadama, rising up over Hanlon. The substitution will indeed come. Foster Langsdorff night is done. He will come off. And the Honduran native Derrickson Vuelto will come on, the 20-year-old from Sambo Creek, Honduras, making his second appearance in USL this season for T2.
And a quieter night for Langsdorff than we saw in that 7-3 game, but still great work up top today.
T2 win back possession. Now a chance to attack the other direction. Vuelto with his first touch. And Williamson tries to beat out Horst, can't get there in front of him. And it's cleared away and offside called on Hoffman. So Vuelto wearing number 47. Made his T2 debut against Rio Grande Valley. This is actually his 3rd appearance. Also appearing as a sub against Reno 1868 as Mulligan is offside.
And Langsdorff, you're going to have a tough time getting on the ball, having time when you have Horst on your backside for the entire game. But I think he did well, still putting pressure on, opening up spaces, checking to the ball. Unfortunate, obviously, that he couldn't keep that streak going in terms of scoring, but I think he had a solid day up there. Vuelto's going to need to continue that work rate, as that's where T2's success has really come from.
You'd have to imagine that Vuelto comes in and uses a little bit more of his pace to try and challenge both Pei, but specifically Horst, right?
Absolutely. I think it's a change that gives you a different dynamic. Another player going in behind, somebody else to track, because so far the Monarchs have had trouble with those pacey people running through the midfield, running in behind.
So here in the 70th minute of a scoreless match, though there hasn't been a lack of opportunities, especially for T2, as Monarchs claim that cross came in and went off the arm of Phillips, but Mendoza is not buying it.
You know, we look at the PKs. In the first half, we looked at that one and we said, you know, you hope you don't circle that one and look at it as the thing that costs you a couple points here and there. You have a second, even more frustration. So it's important that they keep their heads here, keep pushing forward, because they've created more opportunities than just those 2 PKs.
We'll have a second substitution for T2 upcoming after the corner kick, as Asprilla wins the header, rises up, flashes across the rest of the box, and Lewis picks it up there. Now it ends in a Monarchs throw. 4th official, Powell Soka, having some trouble getting the board ready to bring in Batista, otherwise he would have came in at that throw. But he will come in at the next stoppage.
You know, within any game, there's ebbs and flows. You have the run of play, the other team has the run of play. It's important right now that T2, while they're not having the possession they usually did, that they continue to work and organize and be disciplined and communicate.
Certainly has the feel of one of those dangerous matches in which you feel as though T2 has been the better team, but hasn't taken advantage of their opportunities, and all it takes at this point is one moment for Real Monarchs here on the road. All right, the second substitution now coming for T2. It'll be, as you might expect, Lamar Batista will come on for Vitas. Making his 4th appearance for T2 is Vitas as he continues to recover from injury. 72 minutes tonight, Joe.
And it's tough to sub in on a set piece, and you have a tough task with Pay. Let's hope he's up to it.
Ball in towards the back post in the direction of Pay, headed straight up into the air. And now Chang back into the box. Williamson heads out. Hanlon back to Portillo. Portillo, his cross straight up in the air. Mangles there to catch.
And with Batista coming in the game on a set piece, that's not a change you normally see. Did well. Got in control of his man, and now T2, you hope they can get going again with these 2 new subs on the field.
The sun comes out. About 65 degrees here in downtown Portland as the long switch comes from Williamson, trying to pick out Aspria, but not enough on it, and Gallagher chests to Leaker. Heavy touch by Portillo, forces the turnover as Vuelto comes back. Loria gets it to Lewis, back to Loria, back to Lewis. Still there for T2, but Portillo beats out Williamson to the ball, and Monarchs bring it the other way.
And Williamson was going to be frustrated. He was wide open on that right side. 1-2s from Loria coming in. If he had just opened that play, I think we have a good opportunity on their hands, but good pressure still from T2.
Zambrano fouls Portillo near the center line. Tactical foul there. Portillo then swings at Lewis after Lewis had knocked the ball away. Quickly back into play, Ryden. Overlapping run from him. And the ball comes in. Phillips heads away. Back central, though. Brody. And left-footed out by Phillips.
You know, it's interesting when you consider the changes. I think they're just not quite in sync on the offensive third right now for the Monarchs.
Here's Ryden near the corner flag. Gets by Vuelto, dribbling to the corner of the 18. Heavy cross comes in. Brody goes down right inside the 6-yard box in front of Mangles. And the ball to the feet of Aspria. Aspria loses out to Gallagher as he tried to dribble around him. Now Brody back to his feet. Taking some tough falls here today as Brody. Brody defended by Batista, corner of the 18. He'll go back post and nobody there.
You've seen crosses come in maybe a little early. Runs are going to the front. They're looking at the back. So maybe just a couple things to focus on for the Monarchs. They're having good passages to play, and then they're falling apart with that last pass or two, that last touch or two.
Really interesting when you look at both of these teams. In some senses, you could say that, I think more so with Monarchs maybe than with T2, but play to the level of whoever they're playing on that given day. There haven't been a lot of blowout wins for Real Monarchs this year. They've had a lot of games where it's been a late goal, you know, or maybe a late couple goals that have earned them a victory or earned them points. As this ball forward to Batista into the attacking third. Gallagher quickly over to close him down, but Batista earns the 4th corner kick of the afternoon for T2.
Both these teams really solid. You're right. It's not necessarily high-octane offense. They're finishing everything last week. This week, you know, not as lucky, but both these teams are really solid, really organized, and that gets you wins, but not the flashiest ones.
Williamson to take in the 76th. Mendoza blows his whistle. He'll pull over Gallagher and Batista to have a conversation.
You mentioned earlier the physicality that happens on any of these set pieces, any of these corners. You could call a foul. He's just calling it out, telling him to cut it out.
Floated back post. Leaker judged that perfectly. Grabbed it with both of those long outstretched arms, and it was important too because Batista was there at the back post.
Floated is the exact word, right? It needs to be further away from the keeper if you're going to want to pull that off. Otherwise, Leaker is just going to come up and grab that above everyone else's head.
T2 earns back possession, and Williamson has a chance to put it in the back of the net, but Leaker with his left foot blocks another opportunity for T2 to get on the board. Still in possession, Zambrano top of the box. He'll play through for Asprilla. Asprilla into the 6-yard box, nutmegs Leaker, and T2 have the opener in the 77th minute.
What a goal, but let's look at where that started. Williamson putting the pressure on and T2 continuing that, and finally Asprilla puts the ball in the back of the net. After that PK, after everything today, he's going to be breathing a huge sigh of relief and seeing T2 up 1-0.
The second goal of the season for Dairon Asprilla at T2.
Such a clever passage of play here. That little dummy by Williamson puts everybody off except for Asprilla. He keeps his run going here. Defender has to commit and step. You let the ball run, and Asprilla is in on goal, and it goes 5-hole, 1-0 T2.
That was probably the only place today you could put it to get it past Leaker. Standing at 6'4", he's got those long legs, which creates a little bit more space there, and that's exactly where Dairon Asprilla slotted it through the 5-hole to give T2 the lead.
After everything today, all the passages of play, it's important to look where that started, and Williamson cutting a ball out of the back in on goal. Now, he doesn't finish it. It allows T2 to get forward. It allows them to put pressure. They win it again, and that's where Asprilla finds the back of the net. So collective work rate, Williamson, again, very key to getting that ball in.
Rail Monarchs quickly into the attacking third the other way. Chang to Adams. Adams has Gallagher, will use him. To Brody. Brody defended by Asprilla. And great defensive work by Asprilla to win it. He's defended by Gallagher. Stops the ball. And Brody able to recover and win it back for Monarchs. Now Mulligan to Loria. Loria able to dribble through 3 defenders. Brings it forward. He has Vuelto to his right. Now he has Williamson to his left. Williamson gets onto the end of it. Can't put anything on it, though, and Pay clears it away from 3 yards in front of goal.
How much trouble has the pace from Loria caused today, carving in and out of defenders here. Little drop of the shoulder. He puts it in, and this beautiful ball in behind. Williamson trying to get the chip over. Good cover there from Pay, but again, Timbers putting on the pressure and keep applying.
Loria doing work. Just a little too far out in front of Williamson. I don't think he could quite get enough on it. And Taylor Pay's last touch of the match is clearing it off the line 3 yards away from goal. He has come off, and Juan Ignacio Mare has come on. So definitely a tactical shift here for Rail Monarchs as they go for the win. Mare a forward, on for a central defender in Taylor Pay. You heard Mark Briggs, the head coach for Rail Monarchs, yell out, "That's a foul, referee." And then you heard Rosendo Mendoza's whistle there shortly after. Not saying that as we await the restart, we're into the 81st minute. Asprilla's header straight up in the air, and a foul called, and rightly so, I believe, as Mangles went up for the catch and was blocked off of it by Mare.
Not sure if the 45-foot header was necessarily what he was going for there, but Mangles, it gives him an opportunity to go up, gets the contact. You cannot do that. And again, T2, this is where you catch your breath. You get organized.
So it is a back three. Kalen Ryden playing out on the left. David Horst in front of Leaker. And Michael Gallagher on the right. Williamson fouls Brody. 45 yards from goal.
You're seeing a little gamesmanship to try to kill off the game, to take seconds off the clock, getting in front of the ball, kicking it away. T2 will be happy with a 1-0 win here.
They've got work to do if they want to get it done. Vuelto's pressure, and then Lewis just plays it long over midfield where it's picked up by Gallagher. Eight minutes plus stoppage time left as T2 try and make it a 5-match unbeaten streak. Cross comes in towards the back post. Header won by Mare and picked up center of the box by Brody. Played central to Portillo. Important block from Andre Lewis. And Loria picks it up. Play it outside to Asprilla.
What an important block that is. That's an equalizer right there. Putting your body on the line, getting in front, preserving this lead. Cam Knowles is going to be very happy with the effort on the defensive end so far.
And out to touch as T2 will bring in their third and final substitution.
Pivotal intervention there, getting in front of the shot, because I don't know how much of that Mangel sees.
So Eric Williamson's night, or afternoon should I say, is done. And Jeremy Abobasi will come on. Has not played in the last 4 matches for T2, on loan with the MLS Timbers.
I don't think Williamson's eager at all to get off the field again, allowing his team to catch their breath, to get organized, to kill this game off. But Williamson should be really happy with his performance today. Dropping back in the midfield, getting the ball moving and going. He created chances, he put the pressure, and it was his pressure on the back line that eventually led to that first goal.
Williamson, a player who certainly brought a top-level attitude to Portland Timbers too. Has Asprilla, nifty work to get into the box, plays central for Vuelto, but it's blocked away by Gallagher. T2 nearly win back possession, and now they need to hurry back. Mare, central for Portillo. He'll try the long switch over to Chang. Finds his man in front of Mulligan. Now Chang dribbling at Mulligan. Will take the shot, and just wide of that left post of Alex Mangels. Chang nearly found the equalizer in the 85th.
Beautiful ball to open up play from Portillo. And Chang, this ball lashes just a little bit wide, but a dangerous, probably the best chance we've seen for the Monarchs today. And T2 happy to see that one go out for a goal kick.
This Monarchs team is known for late game dramatics here early in the year, as they try and create more here today at Providence Park. T2 looking for a 7th win, though, of this 2018 campaign. Here comes Adams dribbling it forward. Look, curl the shot, and Mangels makes the easy catch.
You know, who for T2 is going to step up, put your foot on the ball, either draw the foul, keep it moving, kill this game off. That's where you've seen a Williamson or a Barnby do that in the past. Who steps up today? Who takes that ownership?
Ball backward actually finds Vuelto. Vuelto plays out to Asprilla. Defended by Gallagher. Now back to Vuelto. He wins it in front of Horst. The offside flag is up on Vuelto. Four and a half minutes plus stoppage time left for Real Monarchs to find an equalizer.
You don't want to see T2 sit back too much here.
Zambrano, great work sliding to win out. Lewis has space in front of him. Mare pressures. Now Lewis will find Abobasi on the diagonal run. Pick it up near the corner flag. He's got Horst defending him. Make that Vuelto. Vuelto's pass. Not sure if he was looking at Asprilla or Loria, but he played it directly in between the two of them. And Monarchs win back possession. Brody chests it down to himself. He's got Asprilla chasing. Play to Portillo. Portillo will go central for Chang. Chang, chance to take a shot, will take a shot, and ends up wide of Mangle's right post.
T2 got to continue the pressure here and take care of the ball when you can. Vuelto, you can't have that in the corner and lose that ball. Kill the game off. If Horst is pressuring you, turn your body, hunker down, see if you can just kill a couple more seconds off the clock. That's what it takes to kill off a game when you're at the higher levels.
I would imagine that's something that's even more difficult in a situation like this, where you have a guy like Dirksen Vuelto who's coming back from being injured, trying to make a presence, make his name known, and gain an opportunity really to show that he should be a starter. He wants to go score a goal, but sometimes needs to play the smart maneuver, as a foul called here on Lewis, and then a bit of extracurricular afterwards. Gallagher under no pressure dribbles forward. Now plays central for Adams. Adams the long switch out to Kalen Ryden. Back to Adams. Pressured by Zambrano, forced to go back to Gallagher at the center line. Gallagher will go direct over the top. Header won by Batista. And we'll just play it out to touch.
Zambrano keeping that pressure up, telling his guys, get up, push up, close the space.
Brody's ball crossed in over the head of Batista. Helped out by Abobasi. And then Adams can't get anything on the shot, and it's easy work for Mangles.
And that beg to go forward from Zambrano, he's telling his guys, it's not enough for Vuelto to be pressuring Horst. We need to cut off his options on the outside, force him into a long ball, and then we win that knockdown. Tired legs, tired minds right now for T2. They got to see this game out.
Minute and a half plus stoppage time left. Chang dribbling at Mangles. His cross too heavy and not enough curl to it. And it'll go out for a goal kick, and Alex Mangles will certainly take his time with this one.
He will, and you see Zambrano still telling his guys, get forward, push up, we got to win this. You may not win that first ball, but that header down, that kick down, you want to get on the end of that, and as we talked about in the first half, complete your first pass, complete your second pass, and calm the game down to kill it out.
Hanlon called for the foul on Zambrano as those two rose for the header.
You know, for me, Zambrano has had an amazing game today in terms of what his responsibilities are on the field. Done such a good job of cutting out the passes, cutting down the lanes throughout the entire game, and then finding his offensive counterparts so they can put together this 1-0 lead.
Offside flag was up as we're 15 seconds away from stoppage time. Mare and Batista rise for the header. Ball still up in the air. Eventually Zambrano settles. He'll play out to Mulligan. Now Mulligan will go long over the top for Abobasi. Horst has to get this right, heads it straight up in the air once, and then gets it to Ryden the second time. 3 minutes of stoppage time. We are 15 seconds in here at the discretion of Rosendo Mendoza. Cross comes in from Chang, blocked away by Mulligan. Controlled again by Chang. He'll go far post for Brody. Brody defended by Batista. Brody will take the shot, and Mangles makes the save. Right at him.
Probably a nervier end than Cam Knowles would probably want right now, but bend don't break if you're the T2 right now, and get forward. We have a couple minutes left. What can you do? What do you need to do to win this game?
Batista, rather Asprilla, ends up going off of him out to touch. And now Adams. He loses out to Asprilla. Asprilla has Loria making the run. Gallagher plays it out as Asprilla was looking for Loria across midfield. Minute and a half left of the added 3 at the discretion of Rosendo Mendoza. T2 looking for a 7th win on the year, looking to hand the Monarchs just the 2nd loss of their 2018 campaign. Brody, no pressure on Brody. Phillips wins the header in front of Hoffman. Zambrano helps it on, but only to the top of the box in Portillo. He'll now play out for Ryden, defended by Abobasi. Ryden, cross comes in and doesn't put any curl on it, and out for a goal kick as we enter the final minute of second half stoppage time.
I'm sure the entire T2 staff is counting off these full 3 minutes. That cross going out for a goal kick, best case scenario. Let's try to win this knockdown. Asprilla, Vuelta, whoever it is, just get your head on it and get that first and second ball.
And Asprilla fouled by Gallagher. That'll burn another 10 to 15 seconds off the clock, as Lewis will take his time with the restart. Batista goes over the top. Vuelto fouls Gallagher. It'll be a restart 5 yards from the end line. 10 seconds left in the added 3. Batista does enough to control it momentarily, but it goes out to touch. We are through the 3 minutes. Rosendo Mendoza will listen for his whistle. Asprilla wins out, and there is the final whistle. Real Monarchs handed their 2nd loss of the season as Portland Timbers 2, behind a goal from Dairon Asprilla, pick up a 7th win. And if other results hold, they will be in sole possession of 2nd place in the Western Conference of USL. Thanks to a goal from Dairon Asprilla, a solid performance from that man, Marvin Loria, and Cameron Knowles has started his tenure as this team's manager in great shape. 4-1 at home, 7-3-2 overall. Solid performance once again by T2. Joe, your thoughts on the 90 minutes we just saw?
This is a really solid performance from T2 today. It's not the 7-3 win we had last week. It's the 1-0. And for a team to win in both fashions is really encouraging for Cam Knowles and his staff, because this shows you they're clicking on all cylinders and they have a lot of momentum as they're climbing up the leaderboard.
There's great opportunities. They now have 22 goals, which is 2nd most in the league coming into the weekend. 7 clean sheets, which puts them into 1st for most clean sheets as well. Solid in the back, finding ways to get goals. Could have easily thought, it's not our day. 2 penalty kicks don't go our way. We're not going to find a winner here. But the constant work, and again, it's the high press that was what really created the opportunity for Asprilla to put it in the back of the net.
Absolutely. The mental fortitude to recognize, all right, we have 2 PK misses. We got to still go forward. We got to keep it going. And for one of the people who missed those to score the winner is even better. I think it's really interesting to see the combination of this, you know, this defense that's keeping the ball at the back of the net and this offense that continues to pour forward and press. It's a whole team effort, and it's really good to see them into the season, what they put together.
Before we get to stats, worth saying, Jake Leaker, the goalkeeper for Real Monarchs, had one heck of a day and has only allowed 1 goal in 3 matches. I think Mark Briggs will certainly like the keeper that he has had in the back of the net here for the last 3 matches.
Nothing to hang his head about. He put together an amazing performance today. I just think the passages of play, what they were doing, their approach, their intensity, T2, throughout the game, you saw them eking forward. You saw the goal was there for them. It's on them to find it, and they did.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the match stats and give you kind of a statistical look at the way this one played out. Things evened up a little bit more in the second half on shots, 14-11 in favor of T2, but very similar to the halftime stats, Joe. It was an even match statistically, but you felt by the eye test that T2 were the better team today.
Exactly. Coming in, these are top teams in the Western Conference, and they showed just that. Really good game technically, statistically, tactically. Both teams came in prepared, and it's nice to see T2 find a way to win that one.
Rail Monarchs coming up. We'll play Sacramento Republic at home coming up on the 29th. Meanwhile, Portland Timbers, too. Their next matchup will come up June 2nd at San Antonio at 5:30. That'll do it for us from Providence Park. For our entire broadcast team, as well as my broadcast partner, Joe Slevin, I'm Fletcher Johnson. Trust you enjoyed the result. If you're a Portland Timbers 2 fan, have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy the holiday on Monday. And we'll talk to you again soon here on ESPN+. Thanks for joining us.